Hey y'all, it's Rachel and Mallory here, and we are actually on Jekyll Island today, and we are about to go visit the Tidelands Nature Center.
So we're super excited. Tidelands Nature Center is a part of the University of Georgia. It's their public outreach nature center. So they have a whole bunch of different animals we're going to explore and meet our friend Corinne inside. But not only do they have this center where you can come see the native animals, but they also offer guided kayak tours and different classes about the ecology here. So let's go explore.
Yep, let's go see Corinne and see what we can find.
Yep.
Welcome inside, guys. This is the 4-H Tidelands Nature Center. We are open to the public. Anybody can come in and check out all of the really neat animals that we have. So we start off here in the marine room. So these are all the animals that live in the waterways. A lot of them were caught locally, either when we went out on trawls or sometimes caught right inside the pond outside of Tidelands here. So we have some really neat animals. As we walk through, we'll take a closer look at some of them, and then we'll head back to our reptile room. So here we have our big-headed sea robin, and these sea robins are really neat because some of their fins have actually adapted to be almost like feelers. They look like little legs that they can use to feel along the bottom and in the sand to look for food. And you can see their other fins will open up really wide and look like really pretty wings, which is why they're called a sea robin. All right, so here we have our stone crab, which will sit really still in the water and does look like a stone if it sits still. And we're going to give him a little bite of shrimp today, which he's actually going to try to grab with his legs rather than his claws. And you can actually eat the stone crab claws. They're one of the most sustainable fisheries because if you only take one claw and leave the other, the crab can still defend itself, but you still get some food. So you guys may have learned a little bit about the horseshoe crab and one of the other creature features, but we're going to show you a little bit about ours because he's going to get a little snack. And their mouths are actually on the bottom, so we're actually going to flip him over here. And he's actually pinching me, trying to see if I might be food, but we're going to give him a piece of shrimp here. He's a pretty good eater, so he'll eat that up pretty quick. Normally these horseshoe crabs are crawling along the ocean floor looking for scraps of dead fish or food that they can scavenge. There we go. So we're going to head over to our reptile room, and we can start off in our snake room, which is a little small. We've got a really great view of all of our really cool snakes, and we can actually take a closer look at one. One of ours is really cool here. And most days we're happy to take out animals for our guests, so you can get a closer look and learn a little bit about them. This one's name is Bengal. Bengal is a white-sided black rat snake. So he's kind of the opposite colors of what he should be. He should be all black with a white belly, and instead he's all white with a black back. This is due to a mutation called leucism, where only some pigments will actually show through.
So Corinne, in Albany, you can find alligators in our freshwater ponds and rivers and lakes. Where can you find alligators on Jekyll Island?
So our alligators definitely do still prefer freshwater, so we can find them in the freshwater ponds on Jekyll, but they do get a little adventurous and they'll actually head out into the marsh as well. They'll actually track some of the alligators, and they've seen them crossing between Jekyll Island and St. Simon's Island.
And these are so cute and tiny. About how old are they?
So these guys are still pretty young. They hatched in September, so about 7 or 8 months old now.
And what do you feed them?
Most of the time these guys will get pieces of fish. At this age they'd be eating a lot of insects out in the wild as well. Or we'll try to toss it up and give them some other protein sources, but definitely meat for these guys.
Carnivores.
Yeah. We're gonna head on down this way. I've actually got a little treat for our gopher tortoises.
Awesome.
We love gopher tortoises.
We do.
So we have Thomas over there, who's just reaching maturity. He's about 18 years old, and we only know that because we know he hatched in 2001, so I guess almost 19 now. And we've got a nice plate of kind of a salad and veggies for him. And we have another gopher tortoise down here named Mr. Jekyll, who's trying to hide.
How funny. So how long can gopher tortoises live?
So these gopher tortoises, they have a really wide range of estimates of how long they can live. Some people say 50 years, some say 80 years out in the wild, or 100 in captivity. They're a very long-lived species.
So do these guys go outside?
We do have an outdoor basking area for these gopher tortoises. It's a little under construction right now, but they love to go outside and wander around and get some sun.
So cute.
Yeah.
And why are gopher tortoises important?
Absolutely. So gopher tortoises are considered a keystone species. So they're really important to many different animals out in their ecosystems. And the reason why is because of the homes that they build. So these gopher tortoises like to dig great big burrows underground. And when they dig those burrows, it's kind of like they're making homes for other animals too. So here we have Chomp, which is a common snapping turtle. And he's still kind of young, kind of small. These guys can get a lot larger. And you definitely want to watch out for them because they're called snapping turtles for a reason.
Yes, we have one. We have an alligator snapping turtle at the aquarium who is quite large and quite famous.
All right, so here we have Puddles, who is a female diamondback terrapin.
How can we tell she's a female?
So there's a couple of ways. The biggest one that stands out is her size. The males are actually a lot smaller than the females.
What kind of threats are the terrapins facing?
Yeah, so especially right now, it's actually terrapin season, so they're laying their eggs, especially along the causeway, the long road to get on the island. And they always think the other side of the road is going to be a best bet for keeping their nests dry.
Of course.
So unfortunately, they do have pretty high road mortality, which is really messing with the population numbers. There's about 6 males for every 1 female out in the wild.
Tough break for a male. And where can you usually find them? What is their habitat?
Yeah, so they live out in the marsh, and these are some of the only turtles that actually live in that brackish water environment with that mixture of fresh and salt water. They do hide out there pretty well, even though these markings look pretty dramatic to us. It does help them blend into the marsh mud really, really well.
They get cute little freckles.
Yeah. All right, so we'll head outside. We've got one other room that we can see with another large tank.
Right.
So out here, we do have a really great spot out here by the pond, and so we decided to showcase a few of the fish that you might see or catch in the pond in this room.
How did that pond get there?
So that pond was actually man-made. It was dug out with the intention of being part of a marina that never came through. So it is a man-made pond, about 17 acres, and one of the only ponds you can fish in on the island.
Oh, cool. So what kind of fish do you have in this tank right here?
Sure, so we have a few different fish. We have a red drum, which people might recognize. And he's the largest fish in here with the black spots as he starts to move around. We also have a few pinfish, some croaker, and some spot. So these guys do pretty well living together. They'll tend to get a little feisty or excited when we toss in some food, but we make sure everybody gets a piece.
Typical. Yeah. So what do you feed them?
Most of the time these guys get shrimp. Shrimp is kind of a favorite around here. We say it's like the popcorn of the ocean.
And these are saltwater, correct? And the pond is saltwater, or is it brackish?
So it is pretty salty, usually 30 to 35 parts per thousand for salinity or how much salt is in it. Brackish water is usually a bit lower than that, although we do say it's a brackish water pond. It's all mixes in with the marsh, which is all brackish water.
Why do y'all have this whale sculpture out here?
Yeah, so Georgia is actually a really important calving grounds for North Atlantic right whales. So this sculpture is about the size of a newborn calf for the right whales. So they are massive. It's not likely that you'll actually see them from Jekyll Island because they stay really far offshore to make sure they don't get beached. But that's why we have it here.
Oh, very cool.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
Of course I do.
Absolutely.
Of course. Jekyll Island used to be called La Isla de las Ballenas, which is Island of the Whales, by the Spanish people that lived here.
I'm just
Really
going to
cool.
give this whale a hug.
It needs a hug.
Absolutely.
We do love them.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming here and visited Tidelands Nature Center today.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Showing us all the animals.
Bye.